Welcome into KSL Sports Rewind, our live bracket reveal show here on KSLSports.com. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. So excited to be able to show you and react to all of the brackets here in the 4A, 5A, and 6A boys and girls lacrosse state tournaments. And before we jump into that, I want to remind you that our bracketology video is brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. If you have any legal needs, the experts at Heidemann and Associates can take care of you. A full-service law firm, and they'll even give you a free consultation. You tell them that Rewind sent you. Call 801-472-7742. All right, so we want to dive into this. We're going to do so quickly. What we'll do is we will go through each of the brackets, starting in 4A, girls and boys, 5A, girls and boys, and then 6A, girls and boys. And then we'll come back and we will dive into each of those brackets. We'll even have some interviews coming up for you across some of those classifications. So you're going to want to make sure that you stick around to hear what different coaches across the state have to think of their teams and of their brackets. But before we dive into it, we want to welcome in. We've got Westfield High School is on with us today. Excited to welcome in the Longhorns, region champs. And a fantastic year this year for Coach Colohan and his squad as they await to see where they will end up in the 4A state tournament. But let's dive into it. We will start with the 4A girls bracket. And I'm going to be seeing this for the first time, just like all of you. So we'll get live response and reaction. Let's start with the 4A girls. 24 teams making the 4A state tournament. And we will dive through this quadrant by quadrant, starting in the top left with the number 1 overall seed in 4A. And your top seed is suspense. The Bear River Bears. Not a lot of suspense there. 3-time state champion Bear River coming in as the number 1 overall seed, riding a 53-game winning streak. The Bears have been impressive. They'll take on the winner of Jordan and Desert Hills in that first round game. As you see the 8th seed there, the Timpanogos T-Wolves finished 3rd in Region 8, taking on the winner of Skyview and Westfield. The Bobcats finished in 3rd in their region, and Westfield, a region foe there in that 9-24 matchup. Bear River, your top overall seed, as we'll move down now to the bottom left quadrant of the bracket. This will be the 4 seed and the 5 seed in the respective 4A state tournament. As we have a look here, coming in at the 4 seed is Canyon View, finished 2nd in Region 9 this year. The 5 seed being your Region 8 champion Provo Bulldogs. Canyon View taking on the winner of Logan Mountain Crest, another region matchup there in the first round. And you went to Snow Canyon out of Region 9. Great to see Region 9 in the 4A this year, both in girls and boys. Uinta and Snow Canyon in that other first round game, the winner to take on the Provo Bulldogs. We'll move now to the top right and a chance to look at the number 2 overall seed in the 4A girls state tournament. And your 2 seed is Waterford, your region champs out of Region 10. Coach Whittle did a great job this year, 11-3 on the year. Ridgeline coming in as the 7 seed. The Riverhawks finished in 2nd in Region 11. And of course, you see Orem, Pineview, your first round matchup, the winner there taking on the Waterford Ravens. And then Cedar and Juan Diego in the 10-23 matchup. Going back just real quickly, that Orem Pineview matchup, Pineview, one of the top goalies in the state. That'll be interesting. See if they can put together a run there with Lonnie Fia. Let's move now to the bottom right quadrant. We'll reveal the 3 seed and 6 seed along with those first round matchups. Playing into those first round buys. Hurricane, your Region 9 champs, coming in at the 3 seed, undefeated in region play in Region 9. And the Payson Lions coming in as the 6th seed in the 4A state tournament. You see Hillcrest Green Canyon to take on the winner of that game to take on the Hurricane Tigers, and the Judge Bulldogs and Crimson Cliffs Mustang, the other first round game, the winner of that to take on the Payson Lions. So there you have it, your 4A state bracket revealed here for the girls lacrosse state tournament. Let's now move to the boys 4A. We will go in similar fashion, starting here in the top left. Again, 24 teams in 4A in the boys tournament. We'll start with our top quadrant. Your number 1 overall seed on the boys side in 4A is the Westfield Longhorns. We thought that Westfield had a great year this year. You see the reaction there. They get the top seed in 4A, 15-3 on the year, 12-0 in region play. And this has been a group with Gage Ryan and company. We'll talk more about them, but man, what a year for the first year for Westfield. Impressive year for Coach Colohan. We saw that team against Bear River, swept the Bears this year. Really impressive, your top overall seed. They'll take on the winner of Desert Hills and Mountain View, your 16-17 matchup. Canyon View coming in as the 8th seed, one of the longer tenured programs down in Region 9, and coming in second in region this year, Canyon View with that 8th seed to take on the winner of Provo and Juan Diego. Juan Diego, by the way, made a great run in their region tournament. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Let's move down to the lower left quadrant of the bracket. Your 4 seed and 5 seed. Coming in as the 4 seed is the Snow Canyon Warriors, your Region 9 champs. And then Waterford coming in as the 5 seed. They were in that 3 position just with a couple days remaining before that RPI went down. Lost in their region tournament. We'll talk about that. But Waterford coming in as the 5. Coach Manny's done a great job with the Ravens, though. You look at Timpanogos Hurricane, the winner of that to take on Snow Canyon. Logan Mountain Crest, again, a region match in that first round. The winner to take on the Ravens in that 5 seed. All right, let's go ahead and move to the top right quadrant. We'll reveal the 2 seed here in the 4A Boys Lacrosse Tournament. And the number 2 seed is Judge Memorial. How about the Bulldogs? Boy, a rise for Judge. They were in like that 4 spot, I think, with just days ahead, but won their region tournament. Judge coming in at number 2. They'll take on the winner of Orem and Ridgeline in that first round matchup. Meanwhile, Payson coming in, your Region 8 champs. The Payson Lions, big wins over 6A teams. Harriman, AF, Westlake. They'll take on the winner of Hillcrest and Green Canyon. Green Canyon state champs in 22 and 23. See if they can get back to those playing days here, put together a run of this state tournament. The winner of that, the green bracket, we'll call it here, with Hillcrest, Green Canyon, and Payson. All right, let's move down here. We'll reveal the last of our top seeds here. All right, number 3, Bear River. Coming in, the Bear River Bears, number 2 in their region, taking on the winner of Cedar and Jordan. Bear River, though, fantastic year, led this year by one of the top goalies, Tyler Owen, 720 save percentage. He was fantastic this year. You see Skyview coming in as the 6th seed, lost in the state championship last year, finished tied for 2nd with Bear River. So you could have a region matchup in that quarter should those teams be able to advance. As you see Crimson and Dixie, that first round matchup between a pair of Region 9 teams. All right, so there you have it, your 4A boys lacrosse bracket. We will come back and talk about this. We'll also have a chance to talk with a 4A coach when we come back to talk about this bracket, so make sure you stick around for that. All right, let's now move on to 5A, and we will reveal the 5A girls state tournament bracket. Similar here, except only 23 teams making it here in the 5A girls. Let's start, as we have with the others, in the top left quadrant. And we'll reveal the number 1 overall seed in 5A. It is the Park City Miners. Not a lot of surprise here. Park City 16-1 on the year. The only loss coming out of state. Impressive year for the Miners. They'll take on the winner of Alta and Bountiful. As you see Wasatch coming in there as the 9 seed, I believe that is. Hard to see there. But West Jordan coming in with the 8 seed, the Jags. This is a team that, boy, when they score in bunches. That could be a real interesting matchup there between the Jags and the Wasps. Let's move down now to the bottom left quadrant in the 5A girls state bracket. We'll reveal the 4 and 5 seeds here, as the number 4 seed in 5A will be the Woods Cross Wildcats. How about that? Woods Cross undefeated in region play this year. Coach Christiansen, there was a top 5 team coming into the year. They've been fantastic as they get the 4 seed. They'll take on the winner, Box Elder and Northridge. Very familiar, a lot of familiarity in that trio, all region foes. You see Viewmont coming in as the 5 seed. The Vikings, impressive year this year for Viewmont, as they've got Cecilia Walton, over 100 goals scored this year for Cecilia, number 2 in the state. She had a great year, as Viewmont will take on the winner of Timpview and Cedar Valley, a pair of region foes there going to battle in that opening round, the winner to take on Viewmont. We'll move now to the top right portion of the bracket. We'll show you the number 2 overall seed. And the number 2 overall seed in the girls' state tournament is Salem Hills. What a year for Salem Hills. Impressive wins this year including over Lone Peak and Skyridge. Familiar names there for Coach Yerkes as well. Brooke Warren, we saw her in our basketball coverage. Great year for Skyline, your Region 7 champs. They'll take on the winner of Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork. Region teams there all in alignment. As you see, the 7 seed, the Highland Rams, 12-4 on the year, and Highland taking on the winner of Clearfield and East. East familiarity with Highland. Clearfield came in 3rd place in Region 5 and just having a 10 seed here in the state tournament. All right, one more quadrant to reveal. We'll move to the bottom right portion of this bracket to reveal the final quadrant we have for you here in the 5A Girls State Tournament. Your number 3 overall seed is the Olympus Titans. This is where they were right before the RPI went down. Olympus coming in number 3. Have some fun facts about Olympus in this one. We'll get to that in just a little bit. They'll take on the winner of Bonneville and Springville in that opening round. And then you see Brighton coming in as the 6 seed. Coach Nash lost in the semis last year, but another strong year for Brighton. Great goalies, have some great goal scorers as well. They'll take on the winner of Roy and Skyline. That Skyline team is a sneaky one. So there you have it. Your 5A girls bracket is, how about this? Park City and Olympus. They have met in every championship game since this has been a 5A sanctioned sport, and they're on opposite sides of the bracket here once again in 2025. We'll see if that plays out or not. All right, let's move to the 5A boys bracket, shall we? We will reveal your matchups across 5A. 24 teams here in the 5A boys state tournament, and this one loaded at the top. Cannot wait to see the matchups that we'll get here on the 5A side. We will start in the top left, and the Brighton Bengals, your overall number 1 seed. Congratulations to Coach O'Donnell, his group, the top offense in the state, securing the number 1 seed in 5A. They'll take on the winner of Clearfield and Skyline. Meanwhile, you see Timpview coming in as the 8th seed. The Rams, or the T-Birds, my apologies, take on the winner Highland and West. That's where I was going, was the Highland Rams. Highland's had a good year this year out of Region 6, but you see a lot of Region 6 teams in that top left bracket with Brighton, Timpview, and Highland. We'll move now down to the bottom left portion of the 5A state tournament. Your 4 seed coming into the tournament will be the Alta Hawks. Braxton Haroba and company, one of the great goal scorers this season, coming into that 4 seed to take on the winner of Spanish Fork and Beaumont in that first round matchup. Meanwhile, you see Woods Cross coming in as the 5 seed, your region champs out of Region 5. They lost to Davis by 1 early on in the year. An impressive group for Coach Kringland. They got a lot of offense, 7-0 in region, 13-5 on the year, to take on the winner of Bountiful and Roy. And this is interesting because Bountiful, the top scoring defense in 5A. So that Bountiful Woods Cross game would be a rematch. Could be an interesting one, a rivalry as well, should Bountiful be able to get past Roy. All right, we'll move now to the top right portion of the bracket here. Reveal to you the 2 seed in the 5A boys state tournament. As we'll move up there quickly, your 2nd seed in 5A in the 5A state tournament, the Olympus Titans. What a year for Olympus and Coach Nick Merrill. This is a group that has been known for their offense, but man, their defense has been great this year. We'll talk about that as you see the Titans playing the winner of Springville and Box Elder. And then you see Maple Mountain coming in as the 7 seed, co-region champs in Region 7. The Golden Eagles have had a really good year. Adi and Way Casey and company. We'll talk about them more here in just a little bit, but fantastic offense for the Golden Eagles. Hung with Brighton in a 5A game earlier this year. They'll take on the winner of Cedar Valley and Bonneville. Cedar Valley getting that 10 seed. That's a really good Cedar Valley team. We saw them early in the season. We'll move now down to the bottom right bracket and reveal to you the bottom right quadrant. Your number 3 seed in the 5A boys state tournament will be the Park City Miners. Region champs in Region 6, undefeated in the region, take on the winner of Wasatch and Salem Hills. And then you see Northridge coming in as the 6th seed. They lost that region championship game to Woods Cross. And in overtime, mind you, getting the 6th seed for Coach Keller to take on the winner of East and West Jordan. So there you have it, your 5A boys state tournament. And boy, this is going to be absolutely barn burning. Before we move on to 6A, I mean, we just talked about how good this bracket is. Teams at the top, there's a lot of teams that can make runs, having to play out of a first round, but could still compete to get even to a semifinal or deeper in 5A. That's how good it is. We'll now move to the 6A girls and our last girls bracket to reveal to you here on our bracket reveal show. 18 teams in 6A will play in the state tournament. So most teams having that first round bye, as we will start again in the top left quadrant, reveal to you the top overall seed in 6A. We've got a pair of undefeated teams. Who will it be? It is Mountain Ridge coming in. Oh, excuse me. It is Mountain Ridge coming in number 1 in 6A in the bracket. Boy, what a year for Coach Brusha. Lost in the championship last year, but coming in as your top seed will take on the winner of Layton and Weber. And then you see Lehigh and Syracuse in that 8-9 matchup. Syracuse, a really good year out of Region 1. Lehigh finished 3rd in Region 3 in that top left quadrant. All right, we'll move now down to the bottom left quadrant. I said a pair of undefeated teams. I was looking at region records, not overall. My apologies. We'll move now and show you the 4 and 5 seeds in the state tournament. Your 4 seed in 6A girls will be the Skyridge Falcons. Co-region champs out of Region 3, the top scoring offense in 6A to take on the Copper Hills Grizzlies. And then you see Lone Peak, the other co-region champ in Region 3, to take on Corner Canyon in a non-region rivalry there with Corner Canyon and Lone Peak. Seems like they play in every sport. They're in that 5-12 matchup. We'll move over to the top right quadrant, reveal to you the 2 seed in the state tournament. And then you'll see that last first round matchup, that 15-18 matchup here in the 6A girls tournament. Your 2nd seed in the state tournament is Farmington. Region champs out of Region 1, Coach McCauley, one of the best defenses that you'll see. Great goalkeeping in L. Erickson and company, and they got great offense as well. We'll take on the winner of American Fork and Westlake. And then you see Bingham with the 6th seed and to take on the Pleasant Grove Vikings, your 10 seed here in 6A. Let's move now down to the bottom right. Bottom right will reveal the last quadrant here. Again, no first round games in this bottom right quadrant. Your number 3 overall seed in the state tournament is the Riverton Silver Wolves. Riverton lost late, and so 2nd in Region 2, securing that 3 seed. Will take on Harriman, a region foe, in the first round. And then Davis coming in as the 6th seed, lost in the region championship game to Farmington to take on the 11th seeded Fremont Silver Wolves in the 2nd round. So there you have it. There is your 6A girls state bracket. Well, let's move on now to the 6A boys. Reveal our last bracket for you here in the state, and then we'll come back again, talk through all these. We've got some interviews coming up too you'll want to stick around for. 18 teams in the 6A bracket video, or in the 6A state tournament this year. We'll start in the top left quadrant. Reveal to you the top overall seed in 6A will be, I've got a feeling, Corner Canyon, undefeated in region play this year. Fantastic year once again for the Chargers, led by their defense and Rhett King. They'll take on the winner of American Fork and PG out of that first round. And then you see Weber Harriman in that 8-9 matchup. These two teams, very interesting. Harriman, a fantastic year, finished 2nd out of Region 2, and Weber finishing 4th out of Region 1, but that's a sneaky Weber team. Let's head down now to the bottom left quadrant. We will reveal the 4 and 5 matchups. Again, no first round games in this bottom left quadrant. Your number 4 seed in the state tournament for 6A is Farmington. Lost their only region games that they lost came against Davis. Farmington coming in as the 4 seed to take on Riverton in that 2nd round. And then you see Lone Peak securing the 5 seed, lost to Skyridge at the Horn, drops Lone Peak here to a 5 seed in the state tournament. Bingham coming in at 12, and this is a sneaky good Bingham team as well. Lone Peak Bingham in that 2nd round. We'll move to the top right quadrant now, reveal to you the 2 seed as well as competing teams out of that quadrant. Your 2nd seed in the 6A state tournament on the boys' side will be the Davis Darts. Davis, your Region 1 champs. Undefeated on the year, 16-0, including a win over Park City early on. They lost in the championship game last year, looking for revenge. They'll take on the winner of Layton and Syracuse, a pair of region teams. They're a trio of region teams. Then you see Fremont, another Region 1 team, securing that 7 seed. They'll take on the Westlake Thunder in that 2nd round in that 7-10 matchup. One more quadrant to reveal here on the bottom right portion of the bracket. We'll head there now as we'll reveal the number 3 seed in the state tournament in 6A. And it is the Skyridge Falcons, region champs out of Region 3, 17-0 for the Falcons. Top scoring offense in the state. Your number 3 seed to take on Copper Hills in that 2nd round. And then Mountain Ridge and Lehigh, the other 2nd round game in that 6-11 matchup. Mountain Ridge with one of the top goal scorers in JT Rigby and company, and great goalkeeping with Matt Whitwer, the warden. So there you have it. Your 6A state bracket has been revealed. Now, folks, we're going to go back. We're going to talk about this, but we want to talk about all the brackets. So while we do this, let's dive back into the 4A girls bracket. We'll go through these in the same order they were revealed, give you some thoughts, some intriguing storylines and matchups for you to be aware of and to be thinking about as we go through the state tournament. So we have a look at this 4A girls bracket. And, when this is revealed, we obviously talk about Bear River, how great they've been. Top scoring offense, top scoring defense, been great. But you look at a team like Canyon View and Provo. I think this is a really interesting 4-5 bracket. Provo, your region champs, and with Jossie and with Moyes, each over 40 goals this year. They've been fantastic for that offense of Provo. They lost to Lehigh and to Woods Cross. We saw how well those teams were received, but by only 4 goals combined. This is a very good Provo team, and potentially taking on Canyon View, who's got a great goalie, a freshman in Shalise Parker. She's over 500 save percentage. Canyon View very good on the draw with Haley Hall at 568. That could be a very intriguing matchup. I think that 4 or 5 to see who can work their way into a semi. The reality is in 4A, you want to delay playing Bear River as long as you can. So when we look at that right side of the bracket here as well, talk about Hurricane Oliphant. What a year for the sophomore, 49 goals. Guzman, the freshman, 43 goals. Hurricane has a ton of offense. Now, the first year being sanctioned for a Region 9 team, so we'll see if they can put that together and make a run to a semi or even a championship game. It feels like there's an opportunity to do so. Ridgeline's had a good year this year with Emmy Welker and Loney Roger. They've combined for over 80 goals, that duo for the Riverhawks. And then you look at Waterford. We talk about their offense. Mia Chow, 59 goals. Howard with 36 goals. You're going to see a lot of offense in this 4A state tournament, but does anyone have the offense to match up with Bear River? We talk about the 53-game winning streak that they've got going on right now. Shelby Wilkinson, one of the top goal scorers, fantastic on assists this year as well, over 100 total points combined. In fact, I think it's around 120 combined. And then they got great goalkeeping as well with Wise and Smart. This is a complete Bear River team. The top seed, there's a reason why they're undefeated for a second straight year. All right, let's move to the 4A boys bracketology video. And going to bring on a coach here in just a little bit. We'll give him just a minute to get ready to go as we give you maybe an early thought here on the 4A boys bracket. You see how this works out. Boy, Westfield, again, just a fantastic year for the Longhorns coming into that top seed. But how about the rise from Judge? In fact, let's see if we can bring Coach Jeff Broska of the Judge Memorial Bulldogs on here. Coach, good morning. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on securing the number 2 seed.
Thank you, Dane. Appreciate it.
Coach, what was your response when you saw Judge coming in at number 2? You guys had a really challenging schedule. The record maybe doesn't look super impressive, right? But obviously rewarded for the challenging schedule you guys played.
Yeah, actually, we kind of thought we were actually going to be the 3 seed. So to be the 2 seed was really cool to see. Boys are fired up. They're out there eating their bagels, and the roar came out when they saw that we were the 2. But yeah, it was really close. We were kind of watching that Skyview and Bear River game last night, and thankfully Bryant Cannell up there pulled one out for us to give us a little help to secure that number 2 seed. So thanks, Bryant. Really appreciate it. And I'm really excited. So looking at both sides of the bracket looks great. I mean, the competition is going to be fantastic, and we got a chance to play Westfield in the championship if we can stay healthy and play up to our capability and keep moving.
Coach, your region did something this year that I haven't seen in lacrosse. I haven't seen in a lot of sports yet, and that is you guys had a regular season champ, and then the last week of the year, you guys had a region tournament that you played out. So you guys have already been playing tournament games for the last week. And then obviously we talked about how challenging your schedule was playing out of state, playing 6A teams, 5A teams. How has been in that tournament? Do you think that will help kind of focus your guys and get you guys playing the right way at the right time?
Yeah, actually, I mean, the season that we had this year, we know, like, moving up next year to 5A, which is already a done deal. We just wanted to play the best competition we can, to get us ready for the playoffs for this year and to move on up for next year. So, I mean, it was the right thing to do. So went out of state, and we had great games out of state, and we played everybody that we could in state this year, and I think we're going to be better for it. So as long as the bumps and bruises heal up.
Coach, you talk about obviously the state tournament, state championship game last year. You turned so many guys off of that team. How has this team responded to having to carry the load of being a defending state champ, returning so many guys that are so skilled, and dealing with that pressure as the season's gone on, and now with state tournament right around the corner?
Well, season's been tough. Unfortunately, we've lost 2 major parts to ACL injuries. We lost Maddox Comey at the beginning of the season before it even began. And just this past week, unfortunately, we lost our short stick D-midi extraordinaire, Matt Evans, to another ACL. So we're backfilling right now. We're thin right now, but the kids are stepping up. We got some great freshmen that are and some sophomores that are really stepping up right now for us, not just in practice, but we can't wait to see what they do in game day. And last night was a perfect example of the boys stepping up against a really, really good Juan Diego team, who on that other side of the bracket I think is gonna do some damage. I really think that that other side of the bracket's tough, man. I'm looking at Waterford and Juan Diego on the other side, and I'm glad we're over on this side.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a great year. And obviously, a lot of eyes on Judge Memorial. Can't wait to see what your group does. Congratulations on the 2 seed, and we'll see you in the state tournament.
Thanks, Dean. Really appreciate it. Look forward to it. Doing a great job. Love it.
Thank you, Coach. All right, so there you have it. Coach Broska, so grateful for his time. Coach, thank you for joining us here and give us some thoughts on Judge and on the season. I love that region tournament idea. We'll talk about that more a little bit, but hey, region, start thinking about that. It's a fantastic idea and well executed there out of Region 10. Let's talk about Westfield a little bit because we saw the Longhorns early on. We talked about the undefeated year in region play, 12 and every year this sport has been sanctioned, they've had a team play in the state championship. Now, usually that's been Skyview, but this Westfield team, complete on offense. We talk about how good they are with Gage Wright. 69 goals for Wright on the year. He's been spectacular. And you heard Coach Broska talk about Judge moving up to 5A. Westfield will as well next year. But they're strong in the cage. They're strong on the offense. And they've got a trio of defenders on this back line that is extremely strong for Westfield. There's a reason why they went 12-0 in region and 15-3 on the year, folks. This is a really, really good group for the Longhorns. Cannot wait to see this group put together a run in this state tournament. But as Coach Broska said, that left side of the bracket is absolutely loaded. And you're going to have to outscore Westfield. We saw them take on, this was a game against Bear River we did earlier, and Westfield kind of jumped on them in that second and third quarter, created some separation that Bear River wasn't able to come back from. And it's a good Bear River team. We'll talk about them here in just a moment too. But this Westfield team does have a lot of offense, and you're going to have to score if you want to beat the Longhorns. But let's move back to the 4A bracket. We want to give you some thoughts. You heard Broska talk about Waterford in that region, or on that left side of the bracket. The Ravens have been great. They finished second in Region 10 this year, and they had one of the top scoring defenses in all of 4A. They had 4 players who had over 28 goals. We talk about how good Coach Manning has been for this program in rebuilding it. They finished second in their region in the regular season. They lost in the semifinal in their region tournament this last week, but this is still a really good Waterford team, 3-1 in region play, 12-2 on the year. They were one of the last undefeated teams in 4A. Watch out for Waterford there. That is that 5 seed in the bottom left. And then you heard Coach talk about Juan Diego, this Juan Diego team. They're the team that upset Waterford in that semifinal. And Juan Diego, you look at this group, they've got a couple of goalies who've got over 500 save percentage this year for the Soaring Eagle. Stoltz and Schulmeyer, each with over 60 points this year. So they got some guys who can contribute offensively as well. Can they find the firepower to go up against Westfield? That'll be a question. Look, they got to get past that Provo team, but that Canyon View game will be really interesting. We talked about Canyon View already, 3 players with over 30 goals for the Falcons this year. And obviously, Cohen Carlson, in case you haven't seen it, one of the top goalies this year, a 714 save percentage. You got to find a way to beat one of the top goalies in the state if you're going to get to a matchup with Westfield if you're Juan Diego. That right side of the bracket, we talk about Bear River. This is a team that I think is I don't want to say underrated. Coach Pulsifer has done a great job. They're 13-4 on the year. They lost a couple. Tyler Owen's been spectacular this year. He's got a 720 save percentage, one of the top save percentages in the state for Bear River this year. This has been a group that has been really, really strong. And I love their response against Westfield. They fell down. They made some charges back, just couldn't quite find enough to get over the hump and dig out of the hole that they were in. But this Bear River team has been really good and really unsung all year long. I really like this group. And they've got a potential to match up against Skyview potentially coming out of that bottom right bracket. The Bobcats and Coach Cannell, you heard Coach Broska give thanks to Coach Bryant Cannell for the win. They lost in the championship game last year. Skyview did. And this Skyview team, I think that 3-6 game, if they're both able to get out of that second round, could be really, really interesting. They both tied for second place in Region 11. So that'll be a really interesting bracket as well to watch. There's a lot of teams in 4A, folks. This tournament is going to be an absolute blast. All right, let's move to the 5A girls bracket. We'll give you some thoughts there as well of potential matchups, storylines, things to keep a watch on. Let's start first with the Woods Cross Wildcats, your number 4 seed. Boy, how about Woods Cross? What a year for Coach Christiansen. 15-2 overall, 7-0 in region play. Riley Linton has been spectacular. 65 on the year. She's over a 550 win on the draw. You look at Richards and Dunn. That trio's combined for over 150 goals for Woods Cross. This is a team they like to get up and down. They're very athletic. They possess the ball, and they just really kind of suffocate out your defense with their possession, sustained possession, their ability to get to the cage and finish off. That Woods Cross team, your Region 5 champions. We saw them. This is a game against Viewmont. Fell down early, went on a big run as they ran away from the Vikings in what was the region championship game. An absolute great year for Woods Cross, your region champs. And impressive wins as well over Provo and Payson and Lehigh. And a potential rematch with that Viewmont team. I know Viewmont would love to get them again. Viewmont there at the 5 seed. Park City, your number 1 overall seed. I think everyone knew that was going to be the way that this played out in the 5A girls state bracket. Top offense in 5A this year. Wins over Mountain Ridge, Davis, Farmington. This is a very, very good Park City team. And you got to love the depth that they have. I mean, they've got a duo of goalies that are really tough to score upon, but it's the defense and really the midfield in front of them. In case you haven't seen or heard, Hadley Mulholland, just a freshman, but she's got a 686 winning percentage on the draw. She's also got 36 goals. And you combine that with Monshine, who's got 28. Crawford has 38. And the most impressive thing to me, at least about this Park City team, as we were doing our prep, they've assisted on half of the goals that they've scored this year. So that ball gets moving around, folks. Really tough to defend. They put a lot of pressure on opposing defenses. It's why they're 16-1 on the year and 8-0 in region play. Very deserving that top seed. Congratulations to Park City, who's had some help on the coaching side as well, as their head coach has had some family stuff to deal with, and congratulations to her. But man, it's been a coaching staff by committee. They've done a fantastic job of helping that team continue to strive towards the goal. State champions in 2023, and would love to get back to a state championship here in 25. Let's look at the right side of the bracket. Maybe the most interesting quadrant is going to be that bottom right, at least in my opinion. Olympus and Brighton, the Olympus Titans, state champs in 22 and 24. And you look at the duo of Lizzie, Sarah Anay. This duo has been spectacular. Their whole careers here. They're going to end up atop the record books in so many different categories this year. Sarah Anay, top point scorer in the state this year, 156 points for Sarah Anay, 83 goals, 73 assists. I mean, just the balance there, and especially at the amounts that she does it, incredible. And then you match it up with Lizzie, 90 goals this year and 55 assists. That duo is spectacular. And by the way, they're both over 550 on the draw. So this Olympus team, they get possession. They score on possession. They are very, very good. And they are just slightly behind Park City for that top scoring offense. These two teams played early in the year. Park City got the better end of Olympus. But again, that was very early on. Does Olympus have something for Park City? Should they be able to get to a rematch? Olympus with wins over Irvington and Farmington is a really good Olympus team. But how about Brighton being in that 6th seed? Brighton has made it to semis kind of year after year. This year, they're going to have to get past that really good Olympus team. We talk about Brighton, Kennedy Norton, Annabelle Kiefer, their duo of goalies, both over 550 save percentages this year. Found itself, maybe, I don't want to say struggled early, but maybe didn't have quite the results early that we would have thought, but that changed as the season went on. Sophie Nielsen, 52 goals. Rodney's got 38. Caroline Lee with 35. There's a trio of goal scorers for the Brighton Bengals as well. And that team, I thought their defense got stronger. I thought their possession got stronger as the year went on for Coach Nash and the Brighton Bengals. We talk about losing in the semi last year. This Brighton team has got some momentum here late in the year. We'll see if that can carry them into the playoffs. Will be tough if they're able to get out of that second round to take on a region foe in Olympus and a team that has been a challenge for these Brighton Bengals the last couple of years. But they do have the firepower. We'll see if they can match up to it. And how about Salem Hills coming in as the 2 seed? We had an opportunity to see Salem Hills. That game got snowed out. We were so disappointed. But what a year for Coach Yerkes. 17-1 on the year for Salem Hills. Lost to Bingham, but beat Lone Peak and Skyridge, Coach Region champs out of Region 3. We talk about Brooke Warren, 53 goals, 17 assists. 5 players over 20 goals for the Salem Hills Skyhawks. We'll see how big of a run they can put on the state tournament. Salem Hills been a fantastic year this year for the Skyhawks. All right, let's move to the 5A's boys bracket. We got another interview coming up for you here in just a moment. as we work to bring our coach on. But let's start by diving into the 5A boys bracket. We'll give you just a thought here as we get our interview ready. 5A boys, I think, has the same amount of depth we talked about with 4A boys. And you talk about Brighton getting that top overall seed. Not a lot of surprise there. But fantastic, well, really just a really deep Region 6. And I can't wait to dive into how this is going to kind of play out as we get ready here for our interview. But between Brighton and Park City and Olympus, going to be really, really good. So let's, again, we're just working on some technical things here. Give us just a moment. Let's start by looking at that bottom left quadrant, shall we? Alta Woods Cross. This Alta team, look, they've got all sorts of offense with Coach Aroba and company. They won the B class back in 2021. But lost to Corner Canyon, lost to Brighton. Those were both close games. That Brighton game had a lead late, couldn't hold on to it. Aroba, fifth leading goal scorer in the state, 59 goals for him this year, 93 points. What a year for Braxton Aroba. And they've got guys like Massey and others can really contribute offensively. This Alta team, it's pedal to the metal on offense, and they're going to make you keep pace with them scoring-wise. Will be really interesting to see if Alta can ride that offense into a semifinal or a maybe even a run deeper than that. Let's look at the I think it's Woods Cross, the other team in that bottom left portion of the bracket. Woods Cross coming in as the 5 seed, 13-5 on the year. We saw this team in that region championship game as they beat Northridge in overtime. Lost to Davis early, 7-6, but wins over Farmington, wins over Timview. And this Woods Cross team, 4 players over 40 points this year. Incredible year for Coach Kringman. Congratulations on the region championship. It was phenomenal because we did that Northridge Woods Cross game and thought, we did that game, I think it was 2 years ago when they were both near the bottom of the region. This year they were playing for region champs. All right, let's go ahead and bring in, we've got our head coach from the Olympus Titans, Coach Nick Merrill, going to join us here on our bracket release show. Coach, thank you for joining us. Welcome in, and congratulations on securing the 2 seed for the Titans.
Thanks, Dane. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're really fortunate, really excited about the playoff run. So excited about that 2 seed, and let's get it going.
Coach, I would say, I think a lot of people would agree, Region 6 was probably the deepest region. Can you speak to just how challenging that region was to play in this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Region 6 has been, I think, the deepest region for several years. You look at Alta, what they've been able to do this year. We had a really tough result with them. Park City every year. We know they play really well in May every year, and they're playing really good lacrosse right now. And then you have Brighton, who secured the 1 seed, and their offense is firing on just about every cylinder, and they could really light up the scoreboard. So, and even beyond that, with us, and East is a good team, Highland's a good team, Skyline's got a lot of great players and good coaching, and that's what makes the region what it is. It's a very challenging region.
Coach, you talk about how much offense there is in that region, and I think your teams in the past have been known for their offense, but this year it's been your defense. I think you guys only allowed more than 10 goals, I think twice this year. Can you speak to what has made your defense so strong this year for Olympus?
Yeah, I mean, it's led by, some really good seniors. Dimitri Savis and Thomas Parker have done a really good job of anchoring that defense, along with James Schlendorf, who I think's one of the best defensive midfielders in the state. And I think, kind of leaning on those guys and that experience that group has brought. They've started for several years and have given us a huge boost. And we've gotten good goalie play from Borden behind those guys, and I think that's ultimately what's led it. We've had the emergence of Alex Pugh, who's been an excellent junior defender for us, marking up a lot of the other team's best players as well, and he's done a really, really good job. And then I can't forget about one of our other main defensive midfielders, Chase Taylor. He's just a stud junior, big 6'2", 200-pound kid, and moves really, really well. And behind all behind all those guys, I think that's what's really, really kind of helped anchor that defense.
Coach, your team has had to battle through so much adversity this year. We were talking just about how many injuries you've had and tough circumstances. How has that prepared your team for this postseason run?
It's been, this team has had a lot of adversity. I mean, we lost James Cannon before the season even started, and Cam Johnson, Jacob Buxton, Devin Brees, amongst others. And that's really kind of hampered, probably more so the offensive side of the ball for us. But on the other side of the token, we've had a lot of guys step up, and a lot of young guys are getting a lot of experience, and they've played really, really well. And you see every week to week, they get better and better every single week. And it's cool. It's really cool to see that. And the offense is led by, arguably one of the best attackmen in the state, Kevin Klinger, and Talmadge, and starting Kai Razi as a freshman. They've all done such a good job anchoring that attack line. William Southwick stepped up for us big time, giving us great minutes. And then Gabe Gordon, he's done a really good job. Brigham Thompson, amongst others. So, but they're all underclassmen. They're all battling and doing a great job. And but the defense has led the way. And yeah, some of those challenges. We wanted the best, what we thought was one of the best schedules in the state. We've played almost every region champion. It feels like Westfield, Judge, Corner Canyon, Park City, obviously in region, and amongst others. And the guys, we've learned along the way. We've had some challenging results, but we've also battled and won some big games. Lone Peak was a big game for us, and we had to battle back from that one. So it's been a fun year. It's been a really challenging year, but a really fun year.
Well, Coach, normally when you have to go through depth, you're not supposed to go 13-4. So that's good news for you this year and in the years to come. Congratulations on a great year, Coach, and on the 2 seed, and best wishes in the state tournament.
Yeah, thank you, Dane. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you on the road.
All right. We'll see you soon, Coach. There you have it. Coach Nick Merrill out of Olympus. Fantastic year this year for the Titans. Just, remarkable to see them. We talk about all that depth that they had to go find and really develop. And boy, did it deliver getting that 2 seed. You got to like the matchups if you're in that region for Olympus or in that quadrant. Maple Mountain, though, look, we talked a little bit about the offense that they've got. 12-6 on the year, 5-1 region, 78 goals by Adian Way, Casey. That's second in the state. Porter Craft, 56 assists. That's top 5 in the state. There's a lot of offense there for Maple Mountain. We haven't talked about the Golden Eagles very much, but that could be a really interesting kind of strength on strength if you're looking at Maple Mountain Olympus games, should they be able to get through those second round games. And that Maple Mountain Cedar Valley one is one for me that would be very interesting. Having been region foes would be just trying to find the right words. It would be very fun to see that game played out once again. We saw Cedar Valley earlier this year and down early in that game. They certainly showed the ability that they have to battle with teams. They've got great goal scoring that can really get going with Dastrup and Huffaker. This Cedar Valley team, look, they started 5-0 on the year, and then we did one of the games and we kind of jinxed them. So my apologies there to Coach McHenry and company. But look, they responded well after some losses in the early or kind of the middle part of their schedule, but responded well after that. And we talked about having the opportunity there for a rematch. It was the last game of the year when they took on Maple Mountain, lost that game 12-7. But you have to figure they would like to have another opportunity at the Golden Eagles. Again, it feels like there's some elements there with Cedar Valley where they could be kind of neck and neck with Maple Mountain there in a rematch in what could be a 7-10 game should Cedar Valley be able to get past Bonneville. We did not talk at all about Park City and Northridge. This would be a really interesting matchup. Park City, the record's 12-5, and that may not wow you, but 8-0 in the deepest region in the state, out of region. Their only losses coming at the hands of 6A teams and out-of-state teams. They lost in the championship last year, but this is another team that's been super tight defensively. They are, I think they've only allowed 10 goals, I think twice as well. Similar stat to Olympus, but feels like this team has more offense that can be more dependable. And when they get some momentum going, look out. Henry and Billy Aldenwick has been spectacular for them. They've got kind of a trio of guys that can find the back of the net consistently. And their defense is extremely, extremely tough. We're talking about only allowing 10 goals twice this year. There's a reason for that. This group is really, really strong. Coach Persky's done a fantastic job with Park City once again. You're seeing the highlights here. They were down by Davis, I think 5-1 in this one. They came roaring back in that third and fourth quarter, tied it up. Davis was able to get the win late. But this Park City team, there's no give up in them. They play a very fun brand of lacrosse, and this will be a team that you're going to have to watch out for coming in as the 3 seed here in the 5A state tournament. That Northridge team is tight. They've lost in the semis the last 2 years. Lance Keller, one of the top faceoff men in the state, a 739 faceoff percentage. They've got 4 players with over 47 points. There's balance there as well. This Northridge team under Coach Keller, you talk about building a program. He's done a great job. Just fell shy in overtime of a region championship this year out of Region 5 at the hands of Woods Cross. But that would be a really interesting game to see if Northridge could crack that Park City defense, which is no easy task. How about Brighton, your top overall seed, number 1, defending state champions, the top offense in the state, 208 goals for the Brighton Bengals this year. Unreal. 3 players with over 85 points in Salinas and Taylor and Carrera. This Brighton out the game, folks. This was just a great display by the Bengals. They fell down in this game, but the scoring of Taylor and Carrera, I think they each finished with 6 or 7 goals. I think it was something unreal like that. They were spectacular. And, one of the other notes about Brighton, one of the things they did last year, the first time the number 1 overall seed in 5A has won the 5A state tournament, they'll look to make it 2 in a row here this year with Coach O'Donnell and company. 14-3, those 3 losses, Corner, Judge, Park City by a combined 4 goals. They've been in every game that they've lost. This is a Brighton team that's going to be extremely scary. They got a load of offense, folks. You're going to have to outscore Brighton if you want to win a state championship. Again, the 283 goals in 17 games. That's a big, big number. All right, there you go. Our 5A state tournament. So excited to bring you coverage from this one. Again, there's teams positioned to make a run. You talk about the defense of Bountiful. You talk about the balance of Cedar Valley. Even that East team, you heard Coach Merrill talk about it. That's no slouch. Their defense, when they allow less than 10 points, 7-2. So look, there's a lot of teams in 5A that can make this really, really challenging. All right, let's move on to our 6A girls bracket. We'll give you a couple of thoughts there on some of the matchups and players to keep an eye on in the 6A girls bracket. Mountain Ridge coming in your top seed, lost in the championship game last year, but have a nice win over Farmington, despite losses to Park City and Olympus. Taya Chalk, 639 win percentage on the draw. She's also got 54 goals. You've got Cannon with 59 goals and the freshman Rigby with 42 goals. A lot of offense for Mountain Ridge. They've made it to the championship game every year since this has been a 6A sanctioned sport. We'll see if they can do it again here this year. Not going to be easy because that bottom left quadrant is where you've got the top scoring offense in Skyridge. 301 goals for the Skyridge Falcons. They've been spectacular with Summer Buchner, 79 assists this year. She leads the state, 148 points. That's second in the state. And this Skyridge team has scored over 10 goals in every game they've played. So if you're Mountain Ridge, you got to find a way either to keep scoring with them or to slow them down. But of course, those 2 teams have to make that happen. And we talked about Lone Peak being that 5 seed. They'll take on Corner Canyon. Been a tough year for Corner, 6-12 overall. But they've got the top goal scorer and one of the top point person in the state in Catherine Fawcett. 105 goals for Corner Canyon. And when you've got that much offense, if you can free them up, you're in every game. But you're going to know opposing defense is going to try to take that away. And Lone Peak's going to try to do that. That defense has been incredibly good this year for Coach Lundell. The offense for Lone Peak has been spectacular as well. Lisenby with 58 goals, Neuenschwander with 54 goals. That will be a really interesting second round game, mind you. And then should they win, that rematch of what was a split 1-1 record this year with Lone Peak and Skyridge in that quarter. That left side of the bracket, absolutely brutal. We talk about Lehigh. We didn't really even talk about Lehigh, but 6-4 in region. Ashland Atkin, 33 goals. There's a lot of really good teams in that left side of the bracket. And Kate Prettyman there, a .536 save percentage for Lehigh. That left side of the bracket, going to be tough. The right side, I mean, it all starts with Farmington. We saw this Farmington team, and my goodness, they complete package. A 6A girls team. They've got great goaltending in Elle Erickson, a .502 save percentage, and she makes big-time saves for this Farmington defense. How about Haley Larson? 747 on the draw this year. You ain't winning it, folks. So you got to find a way to get that ball back against this Farmington team that is so strong on possession. I mean, this was a region championship game against Davis. and they just absolutely just controlled quarters of that game. Alex McCauley, 58 goals, 32 assists. Haley Larson, 37 goals, and actually more than that. Been a great year for the Farmington Phoenix, who lost in the semifinal last year. They had a nice win over Riverton. This is your top scoring defense in 6A, folks. So you got to find a way to crack the code. You got to get the ball, which is tough to do when you can't win the draw. And then you got to find a way to get it past L. Erickson, multi-year starter. This is a really, really good group for Coach McCauley. 14-3 on the year, 10-0 in region play. Farmington's going to be a load on that right side of the bracket. Let's look at some of the other matchups there. You see Bingham, we saw them earlier in the year. 10-7 on the year. This Bingham team, they lost to Skyridge 21-19. We're talking about you got to outscore Skyridge. Bingham scored 19, still lost that game. That's how good that Skyridge offense is. But the fact they put up 19 against Skyridge, this Bingham team, they've got some offense with Little and with Grizzle. That duo's combined for over 90 goals this year. So, look, Bingham's got some offense. Can they get enough defensive play to keep games in reach, be able to get wins? That Bingham-Farmington game would be really, really interesting. Then you look at that bottom right portion of the bracket. We saw Davis, that Davis team coming in as the 6th seed. Esther Facer's been great this year. Can she get some scoring help? Can some of the depth of offense behind her help to contribute? They've got other goal scorers that have scored over 20, 25 goals this year. But you can see at times it feels like they want Facer to be able to get those finishes. But, man, if they can get support around her, this Davis team, they can put together a bit of a run. They've got some tough losses, but we talked about the win over Skyridge earlier this year. Man, that should give them a ton of confidence, beating a team like Skyridge with how good Skyridge has been this season. This Davis team, they've got a youngster in Cage and Monalga. Got to do some work to help kind of not protect her, but to take away some of the amount of shots that she'll have to face. But she's capable of making big saves. She made big saves against Farmington in that game as Davis tried to mount a comeback, and they almost did. But, that defense can be really good. See if they can get some support scoring to put together a run. And then Riverton, your 3 seed. This Riverton team, one of the last undefeated teams in 6A this year. They lost in the semi last year, beat Davis, beat Lone Peak. Simonson's been great in the Cage this year. Bird and Pennington, some of your top goal scorers. This Riverton team, 13-4 overall in your 3 seed. That Riverton Davis team, should they match up, would be interesting. But don't forget about Fremont, your defending state champions, in at that 10 seed. I know it's been a tough year for them, 500 in region. But, there's just something about Lacrosse and Farmington and Fremont and Greeley Kelly, 642 save percentage this year. Ashton Williams found the goal, back of the goal 53 times. Heart of a champion, man. You just never know. So some interesting matchups here in 6A on the girls' side. Let's move to our final bracket, 6A boys. We'll give you some thoughts here, and then we'll wrap the show up. 6A boys. All right, so Corner Canyon, it's kind of Corner Canyon's world, and everyone else is living in it, right? Been that way really all year long. Rhett King, what a year he's had. Save percentages in the state, 721 save percentage for Rhett King this year. It's been not just the defensive core. I said early on it was this defense, but the offense has really developed. And they've got a pair of great face-off men, including Easton Danes, who can do more than just face-off. He scored the game-winning goal in double or triple overtime against Park City. But then you look at DeGracie and Dutton and Wheatley and Brown, and there's a lot of balanced offense for Corner Canyon. And when they find that balance, it's like it's 2023 again. You don't know who to stop, who to try to take away, how to match up. They can score from outside, they can get it inside. Very good with possession when you got a guy like Rhett King behind you. Look, you got to find a way to score 10 goals on Corner. I don't know how you do it. A lot of teams haven't been able to figure that out. That's why Corner is 15-1 on the year. The number 1 scoring defense in 6A this year, and the only team to win a 6A state championship is your top seed, the Corner Canyon Chargers. How about Harriman? Great seed line for Harriman. 4-1 in region play. Been a great year for Coach Lance. They've only given up 10 goals twice this year. So that defense has been great for the Mustangs. Farmington Lone Peak. Yes, sir. Farmington lost in the semi last year. But, you got Tyson Hoskins there. 634 save percentage for the Phoenix. Kai Bynan, 36 goals and 26 assists. Mitch Milne with 32 goals. This Farmington team, they could be tough. And I 13-4 on the year. Their only losses in region coming against the Davis Darts. Look, I think this Farmington is a team that you got to keep an eye on. Just really interesting. I think the balance of their defense and their offense, they get it put together. It's kind of, I don't know, man. It just feels like this is a team that can get some momentum going, and if they get hot in this tournament, and when you look at kind of where that quadrant is with Bingham and Lone Peak and Riverton, they might be able to do it, but this Lone Peak team is really good. 12-4 on the year. Those 4 losses are only by a combined 8 goals. And you look at, Emmett Fenton. We had a chance to see Lone Peak take on Skyridge. They lost that game with just a second remaining. Emmett Fenton, 52 assists this year. That's top 5 in the state. He's been great. Lambert with 56 goals. Fenton's got 33 goals on top of his 52 assists. There is some offense there for Lone Peak. But when they play their best, Lone Peak is really, really tough. But we kind of saw Skyridge in that fourth quarter. They went on a 4-0 run in that fourth, kind of drained that game away, especially at faceoff. That hasn't been Farmington's strength. They lost. They've had some injuries at that position. They're trying to build it back up there. But when Skyridge was able to win that faceoff and really take the ball, they were able to kind of wear down that Lone Peak D. So I think that's a really interesting kind of bottom left quadrant of the bracket. You see Davis and Fremont in that top right. Davis obviously 16-0. Their has been spectacular this year. They beat Park City. We mentioned that. They lost in the state championship game last year. They lost their starting goalie early in the year, but Tristan Tucker has stepped into that, and he's really matured. 565 save percentage. We talk about how important faceoffs are. Charlie Dibble's 726 from the spot. They win a lot of possession. They get great goal play, and then they've got guys who can strike on offense when they need it. Donegan, 72 goals this year to lead the way for Davis. Woods got 55 assists. Edelman can find the back of the cage. These 3 guys have all contributed for over 78 points each. So, you've got 240 plus points just from that trio, and their defense only allowed 75 goals. It's a big scoring differential, folks. The guys on the possession. We talk about better defenders, long poles. I love Coach Merrill talking about he's got great defense. Carter Sant, the long pole for Davis, absolutely spectacular. Great against Park City, great in this game against Farmington. He can seemingly shut down opposing offenses. This is a very good Davis team. Going to be well positioned to put together a run here in 6A. As you see a chance to rematch maybe with Fremont. This team, remember, was in a state championship game a couple of years ago. Kane Berry's had a great year this year, and Price as well. And then they've got Riley Souza in the cage, who's been strong this year. Can they have enough to get past Davis? Lost to him twice this year, maybe third time's a charm there for the Silver Wolves, but that Davis team is really good. Skyridge, let's talk about the Falcons. Coach Butterfield, what a job he's had. 17-0 are the Skyridge Falcons. They got one of the best goalies in the state in Jackson Hansen. 715 save percentage. That's top 5 in the state. We talk about in that game against Lone Peak, it was Jackson Baird who really took that game away late. 610 win percentage on the faceoffs this year for Baird. He was spectacular, especially late when Skyridge had wins. It was Jackson Baird stepping up to get him. Cabell Buchner, 106 points on the year. And the thing I love about this kid is he doesn't force any aspect of his game. That fourth quarter, they're down 13-10 at the start of it, and he is facilitating that ball. He's getting it moving to guys like Forsgren and others. But then when they needed a play, it finds their leading goal scorer in Cabell Buchner, and he rips it from about 14 yards out with 2 seconds left to give Skyridge the win. He's top 5 point scorer in the state, Cabell is. And then we talk about Dylan Forsgren, 42 goals, 38 assists. But this Skyridge team has 5 players that each have over 45 points. They've got a lot of offense and a lot of depth to that offense. It's your top scoring offense in 6A this year. They're undefeated. This Skyridge team has a lot of momentum, and it just feels like a confidence. We interviewed Coach Butterfield, and he's the first to talk about, hey, getting these kids out in the community, helping them be a part of something bigger and beyond just lacrosse. And it feels like that is just really catching on in this locker room. They trust each other. They play well together. This is a team that has a lot of fun playing lacrosse, and you see it when you go watch them. If you have not had a chance to see Skyridge, go check out one of their playoff games, folks, because this team is really that good. As we take a look back at the bracket, a chance to take on Mountain Ridge, and we talk about JT Rigby, one of the top point scorers in the state as well. 73 goals for JT. That's third in the state, over 100 points for Rigby. This young man can score seemingly whenever he wants to, and he can do it from close. He can do it from outside. He's been one of the top goal scorers really all year. You pair that out with Gavin Gurr, 29 goals, 21 assists. There's some depth to this Mountain Ridge offense when that duo gets going. Matt Whitwer. This may be the key for Mountain Ridge. Look, there's only been one game this year where Whitworth has had a save percentage less than .545, and that was against Corner Canyon. He has been strong this year between the pipes. They're going to need him to have some big games because, again, they're going to go up against some good offenses. And while Rigby and Gurr can score, you might need to be able to pull down the scoring average of a Skyridge or pull down the scoring average of a Davis. They're going to need Whitworth, no pressure, young man, to be able to make some big saves in this state tournament for Mountain Ridge to put a run on. He is totally capable of doing it. We've seen him do it this year, and he's able to do it. That Mountain Ridge team coming in as that 6th seed in the bottom right portion, a potential matchup with Skyridge, sign us up. That would be a good one in that quarterfinal. Man, can you tell we're excited about the state playoffs? There you have it, folks. Your 4A, 5A, 6A state brackets for girls and boys lacrosse. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to thank Westfield for joining us here today. Coach Colohan, fantastic job. Can't wait to see what they put together. Also want to thank Coach Broska and Coach Merrill out of Judge and Olympus, respectively, for their time. We cannot wait to bring you these playoff games, folks. We're going to get out. We're going to bring you as much playoff action as we can. First round, second round, quarterfinal action coming up all this next week. There's going to be lacrosse games every night going on. So even if we're not there, go check out a game nearest you. There's a lot of great matchups, first round and second round and into quarters happening all this week. And then, of course, not this week, but the next week, we will have all the semis and all the championships in 4A, 5A, and 6A, boys and girls, all the semis at Westminster, all the championships at Zions Bank Stadium. Come join me for all of those as we take you all the way to state championships right here on KSLSports.com. Thank you for joining us for our live bracketology video. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed being able to bring it to you. We want to thank the UHSAA for helping us out, allowing us to be able to put this together for you. And, of course, want to thank Vince Francis, our producer, making all this work. So, and, of course, to our sponsors, Heidemann and Associates. Go check them out, folks. We can't bring this coverage to you without them. If you have any legal needs, give them a call, 801-472-7742. For Vince Francis, my name is Dane Stewart. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the state playoffs as we take you to state championships right here on KSLSports.com.